amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remember blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria. Remember, they will always change the narrative. The government will always try as much as possible to use the conventional media to change the narrative, but that I will not allow. In this platform, we'll set the record straight and we'll say it the way it is. Not preaching hate speech, not by talking down to anybody, but setting the record straight and bringing the information to the front burner and letting the world know the exact situation of things. Each time you watch my video, you can equally go to the comment section, put down your comment, say it the way you feel it. It's so welcome. You can criticize if you so desire, but do it constructively so that we can be able to learn from one another. That is why I'm here. And now, I'm going to share with you a very important video. I hope after watching the video from the beginning to the end, you're going to enjoy the video and you continue to stick around and be able to enjoy the rest videos that are going to be coming your way from time to time. Thank you so much for coming. Today, the video I'm going to share with you is a very important video.
In the last 6 years, President Mohammadu Buhari has kept to the tradition of New Year's Day's nationwide broadcast to speak to millions of Nigerian citizens. Expectations were therefore very high that the president will seize the auspicious occasion in 2022 to talk to his people in the new year. It was not to be. President Buhari broke the tradition and in place of a nationwide broadcast, he sent what he calls statement to the nation. Joining me tonight in the studios to analyze President Buhari's statement to Nigerians is the National Coordinator, People's Democratic Party Youth Alliance, Charles Omeni. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Happy New Year.
And same to you.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you again in the studios.
Thank you.
And you are our #1 first guest on the program Democracy Today 2022.
What a pleasure. I bring you greetings from a great party, the People's Democratic Party. And we wish everyone in AIT a wonderful year.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, one of our major talking points tonight has to do with the president's message to Nigerian people. Ordinarily, a lot of people we're expecting that there will be a nationwide broadcast. I know a lot of people who had anticipated, trying to make sure that they have their generators ready, some putting batteries in their transistor radio, just to be sure that they listen or watch the president speak to them.
Okay.
That did not happen. But what we saw yesterday was a statement, and for the very first time, we know that President Mohammadu Buhari has been doing a nationwide broadcast or to the Nigerian people, but yesterday was a little bit different. Without needing to go into why or not he did not give us a broadcast, we got his message. And in that message, President Mohammadu Buhari harped so much on the issue of insecurity in the country and efforts that his government has been making, to make sure that he lowers, that particular issue. To your mind, are you satisfied with what the president said regarding Nigeria's effort, this administration's effort to, reduce the level of insecurity in the country?
Thank you very much. I think we have all witnessed in the last 6 to 7 years
Six and a half.
6.5 years. What this administration, the level of performance, and what they brought to Nigerians. You see, basically, let me go back to the president's speech. Normally, the president's speech every 4th January of the year gives hope to every Nigerian.
Were you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it because the president's speech gives us a redirection where the country is going to. His body language sends a strong signal on how the year is going to take off and what we should be expecting. So the president keeping mood, sending in a note to Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians are still waiting till now to hear Mr. President speak to them. Because it's a culture that you're happy as the president of the country seeing God.
Seize that moment.
Yes, what I'm saying. God has been able to carry us from January till the last day of the old year, bringing us into a new year. Everyone expects, as a citizen or as a stakeholder of this nation, for them to hear from you. Hearing from you gives them hope. It gives them courage that yes, of a truth, we're going to have a bigger and brighter year from all the challenges and the experiences we've had in the last year. So for me, Mr. President didn't do well, and Nigerians are not really being given direction politically and economically on what we should expect. But we are preparing for an election 2023. So the president's speech will have been able to give us a political and economic direction for the year 2022.
But it wasn't as if the president, in the real sense of the word, shunned the Nigerian people. He sent a very powerful message, 23-paragraph message, in which he detailed some of the achievements, he called them wins, of his administration and what the next step will be like. First, speaking about the issue of security, he admitted that the problem is there and that his administration is doing everything within its ability to curb it. You're not satisfied with that?
The best is the worst for Nigerians. Let me tell you, the issue of security is a collective thing. Many of the times, we find out that even within the security agencies, there's no synergy and there's no collaboration, no effective communication. Sir, I want to tell you boldly on this studio that if today the government of this country is ready to deal with insecurity, insecurity will have been a thing of the past. Because many a times we've had issues where there are security reports prompting us that this is going to happen. I mean, less attention is given to this. Is the only administration I've seen where strange things happen to Nigeria.
Do you think government, Nigeria as we speak, is winning? As claimed by the president, the fight against insecurity.
Government is losing the fight against insecurity.
How?
Can you travel can you travel freely
the
now?
Talked about a lot of insurgents, surrendering,
that is why we have the different security agencies. We have the DSS who are in charge of intelligence gathering. Are you telling me that they are not doing their work? They are doing their work. So the best has turned to the worst. So I think, and on this note, I want to advise Mr. President and the security chiefs. They have to change the strategy. If they say they are winning the war against insurgency, against insecurity, against bandits, I would say no, they are rather losing the war. We've seen a lot of our territories and terrains being taken over by bandits in Maiduguri, in Zamfara.
In some places, collecting taxes and levies.
Yes. It's an embarrassment to this country. So there's a lot the security agencies have to do. And I'm calling on Mr. President at this point. We've heard severally that banditry, insecurity will soon be a thing of the past. From the inception of this government, sir, how many Nigerians have lost their lives? Have you been able to check this? How many people can travel today by road freely? You've seen cases of kidnappings. You've seen cases of people being killed on the road. There's no safety anywhere. So the government, as at now, they are losing the fight against insecurity.
And you said some minutes ago that you would want the government to change its strategy.
Yeah, they have to change its strategy.
And the president being the commander-in-chief
of the armed forces.
You would have expected to see him boldly, raising, showing his face,
that concern
people.
Yes, reassuring them that there is hope. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Nigerians have hope that of the truth, the assurance Mr. President is giving to them, something is going to be done about it. I mean, Nigeria will believe more on the government. But let it be known to you that Nigerians have lost confidence.
Or are losing.
Okay, they are losing confidence.
Maybe.
Because a lot has happened and nothing has been done. A lot has happened. A couple of days ago, we have this attack in Maiduguri. We expect the president to go down to Maiduguri and see what has happened. Because Maiduguri is part of Nigeria. You're talking of leadership here. Without the people, you can't be a leader. So for 2022, the APC-led federal government, they have to wake up and deliver democratic dividends to Nigerians. You're talking of government of the people, for the people, and by the people. The people brought you into power. There's a trust and there's a bond. That's why they delivered their votes, voted for you to come in and lead them.
But what someone will quickly want to ask is that, or see, I can almost sense what is going on in the mind of some of our viewers right now.
Yeah.
Will be that, oh, he's a PDP man, why won't he be saying so? Meanwhile, all of these issues did not start with this APC government. You had your own fair share of these.
We did.
Were you able to deal with the matter the way?
The situation is worsening. I won't say when PDP, when we're in power, we had challenges of insecurity.
You could have nipped it right there then.
But not to this level. The situation is worsening. I have seen when President Goodluck Jonathan was president, where we have this bomb blast, where we have these attacks, Mr. President will leave the comfort zone where he is in the villa to visit these places, and at times the victims, he will visit them in the hospital to encourage them. And that takes us back to what I'm saying, that governance has to do with the people, especially when it comes to democracy. The people must feel your impact. That at the years of the truth, we have a leader who has our interest. But that is not what we are experiencing under this administration. I can't remember any of the saints that Mr. President has visited to either find out what is the cause, what has happened. These are the people you're governing. We've had series of attacks here. You see bandits taking over a whole local government.
And on a day he was supposed to address the people they were expecting
that he would talk to them, maybe to throw light on most of all these issues. The president is nowhere to be found.
Now let's talk a little bit more about the lot talked about. You've also mentioned it, the level of insecurity in most states, especially in the northwest of the country, northeast as well. We know it is spreading in form of kidnapping in the south and southeast of the country. What do you think are the factors responsible for what we are seeing today? You said it is worsening.
It is worsening, yeah.
So,
yeah, one of the factors, there's so much hunger in the land. You know, when this government came on board, there were a lot of expectations. When PDP were in government, you can be able to afford 3 square meals in a day. Can you compare the cost of petrol price and the rate at which we buy food items then and now? This government came on board within a short period. They have to jack the price of fuel to how much? Which is what we are enjoying today, because all of us are enjoying it.
Enjoying?
Yes.
Is that the right word to use?
That's the right word to be used.
No, I don't think so. Enjoying.
We are all enjoying the government today. Because I can quote the Honorable Minister for Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. Severally has said this government has done the best. This government has done the best. But the best is not the best for Nigerians. So the level of hunger alone in the land. Look at when this government came on board, how many people lost their jobs?
So how would you want the president to address this issue? Don't forget, the president in his statement to the nation, because that's a new thing right now.
Yeah.
Statement to the nation.
Yeah.
He said that he knows that winning that war against insecurity would also mean, dealing or tackling some of the social issues, maybe issues of unemployment, that are responsible. And so he's going to work with a number of international partners. That's how he puts it in his statement.
Okay.
Maybe provide social intervention, here and there, to just cushion the effect of what we are going through, and then be able to draw a lot of people out of some of these, vices. What would you, or how would you advise the president to go about doing all of this?
I think the first approach, there have to be new economic policies. They have to be new economic initiatives. You see, if today Nigeria has a flexible economic policy that will engage especially the young people, I think this year we heard that they are engaging 774,000 youths. Where are they today? In the past, we've heard that they're going to pay 5,000 when this government, when they were campaigning, 5,000 naira to every unemployed youth. They came into power after 3 months, they say they never said anything like that. You see, there
have been video clips of through the Ministry of Humanitarian affairs. We've seen actual
how many Nigerians
payments of money.
The question I'm asking you is
Empower program.
Can they give us a figure how many Nigerians are benefiting? Okay, this December, I think federal civil servants were not paid salaries. So where are we heading to? So the level of hunger in the land is so high. Let me give you an instance. If you have a family of 5, 6, 7 children, you work to the end of the month, no salary. What are you going to do on a period like this? You have to look for survival. The positive way you look for survival might not be the same way Mr. B or C. That will not be the approach they want to use. They want to go the other way around. People are going into kidnapping and all sorts of atrocities just to make sure they survive. It's not that they want to do these things, but because the economy is biting, everybody wants to survive. Look at transport fares today.
Do you see any attempt at trying to want to sabotage this government efforts in some places by some people? Possibly propelling some of these things.
There's nobody anywhere trying to sabotage this government. I don't think there's anybody anywhere that is trying to sabotage the effort of this government.
But I don't understand why.
This government needs to put in more. They have to redouble their efforts to deliver democratic dividends. We've seen the government borrowing. We've not seen. We've not felt the impact.
Do you think a declaration of state of emergency as a result of the insecurity in places like Zamfara, Katsina, which happens to be the home state of the president,
Mr. President, yes.
Do you think a state of emergency is ripe and proper?
You don't need to declare a state of emergencies if you have figured out the areas where there are challenges. So that is why we have the security agencies. We have the police, we have the Air Force, we have the Army, we have the DSS, and the rest. If there's a synergy, I've seen in a state where we are going to have an election, 35,000 policemen will be deployed. We have this number of DSS that will be deployed. This number of military officers will be deployed. What has happened when it comes to tackling insecurity in a particular state? Can't this number
be deployed for that purpose?
Yes.
For that moment?
Yeah. This number can be deployed. And we are lucky enough that where these things are happening, these places can be easily pointed out. So if you deploy 30,000 policemen to Zamfara, 30,000 policemen to Katsina, sir, we should be able to have results. And that's why I'm saying the security agencies must change their strategy.
Good.
Yes.
Now, quickly, let's take a look at another aspect of the president's statement to the nation.
Okay.
And which has now, you raised some part of it before, that has to do with the economy. The president says they're making a lot of progress in that regard, and that they have made, there is this 4 consecutive growth level, from between 2020 to now. 2020 there was this global, problem of COVID-19. But between that time and now, what the president's statement said is that Nigeria has gone through, these 4 different level of growth, steady level of growth, which he says is good and is now attracting, direct foreign investment into the country. Do you accept that? Meanwhile, the president is basing that statement on reports delivered to him by the National Bureau of Statistics.
Well, I think it's funny enough when you're talking of direct foreign investment. Where are the investors?
Can you feel that growth?
We've not felt any growth. Sir, if the economy, if there's an improvement on our economy, everybody will see it. There's no improvement on our economy. We keep borrowing. We keep borrowing and borrowing. Last year budget, we borrowed and borrowed and borrowed to fund it. And I want to ask this government a question. The monies this government is borrowing to tackle the economic challenges?
No, most of them is to address infrastructure deficit.
We have not seen how is the government going to pay back this money?
It's not the government, it's the country that is going to pay back.
You're talking of the country going to pay back. The country has a government in place that's going to work out modalities.
But isn't this borrowing of necessity? The things that the government says they are using it for, are they available? Are they not required? Are they not needed? Roads, rail. We have seen rails, the Minister of Transportation, we've seen, in fact, during this U-tide, there was this free rail service that was given to Nigerians.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me come back to you. Until we address the issue of insecurity, we're not going anywhere as a nation. That's the greatest challenge we're having. See, once we are economically stable, politically we're going to be stable.
No, I mean, maybe when we are politically stable, we're going to be economically stable.
Yeah. And when we're economically stable, politically, there'll be stability. Yes. You don't expect me 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I can't even afford 2 meals. I'll begin to act like an abnormal person. And that is where the situation a lot of Nigerians have found themselves into. Have you checked how many people this Yuletide period traveled? Have you checked? In Abuja, almost everybody is here.
No, but I think I saw a lot of empty road, people, the roads.
People are indoors.
They are indoors.
People are indoors.
You don't mean it?
Yes.
They were all indoors.
Federal civil servants have not been paid till today. What do you want them to celebrate with? But it has never happened like that. It didn't even happen where PDP was in power.
Let me draw your attention to one of the wins, one of the successes that the president pointed out, in trying to reshape the Nigerian economy.
Okay.
They were able, for the first time in many years, able to pass the petroleum industry bill. That bill that had proved difficult for so many years, and the government is looking forward to beginning to, when it's able to put the legal framework, the governance and administrative process of how to manage Nigeria's oil revenues or oil resources, then the government will have a lot more resources, money within in its hands to spend. Isn't that enough achievement? Money from petroleum that had been possibly wasted by your PDP in the past? Possibly.
Well, Nigerians are looking up to that. If you call that an achievement,
it is an achievement, because for close to like 20 years, it never happened. But it happened. We saw it finally signed, and then there is that prospect. A lot of industry watchers have said it is one of the biggest things that the Nigerian economy needs to propel itself.
Okay, now, from your summary, are you telling me in essence that this government have been able to deliver democratic dividends to Nigeria? In summary, is that what you're telling me?
That's what they are saying. And they are pushing the facts.
But we are not feeling the impact.
Pushing the fact before us. The petroleum industry bill, in fact, the president in that statement said, where some failed, and I know that some was referring to the era of the PDP, where some failed, they have succeeded, while he was thanking the National Assembly. Isn't that a big enough, achievement to be applauded?
You call that an achievement? You call that an achievement? Okay, fine. Let me congratulate the APC-led federal government for signing the petroleum industry bill.
Good.
We also want them to sign the electoral bill.
We'll come to that. Right now, we are still taking a look at the president's speech, and one final major aspect of that particular statement to the nation has to do with the issue of corruption. Do you, in all honesty, think that this government or Mr. President, let's have your pass mark, anti-corruption fight?
You know why I laugh most times when you raise these issues?
I'm not the one raising it. The president mentioned it. Is in his statement, and they are going to continue. He's going to fortify all the anti-graft agencies to do more. Possibly pick a lot of people who have looted the Nigerian state, who are members of your political party. So,
thank you very much. For me, the fight against corruption, I will raise this government 0. Because we've seen it this way. Once you're corrupt and you join APC, you become a saint.
How?
What is happening? There are a whole lot of top Nigerians. We all know of that they are corrupt with glaring evidence. But what this government does is, why not move? Now that we've proven to you that you are corrupt, why not move to our party? You join the All Progressive Party. Once you join the APC, you become a saint. So they fight. One of the promises the APC-led federal government made to Nigerians before they came into power in 2019 was that they are going to fight corruption.
And you don't think they are fighting well?
They are not fighting corruption.
What are they doing?
They are not fighting corruption. Which Nigerian that is found corrupt, they are being jailed, and genuinely jailed.
I don't want to start mentioning names, but there is this well-publicized one.
Which one is well-publicized one?
Former chairman, police.
How many of them?
Service commission or something. Police.
Sir, this APC-led federal government is the most corrupt. And that's why I want to use this opportunity to appeal to Nigerians. In 2023, at all levels, let them support the People's Democratic Party, because we know we're coming in to clean the rot and the mess. This government is confused. They have no strategic approach to any of the challenges.
You say this government has not been fighting corruption.
They have not. I wish we have an APC person here.
What about your former publicity secretary, the PDP former publicity secretary? The issue surrounding it,
surrounding Olisemetu.
Yes,
is Olisemetu the only one found corrupt?
You just asked me to give you an example, and
no. If we want to start mentioning names, we will not leave the studio today. If you want us to start mentioning names, because I know of other few persons too, when this government say they are corrupt, as soon as they come to APC,
their sins are forgiven.
Their sins are forgiven. You are a saint.
Anyway,
so I want to make it very bold to you and to Nigerians that in the area of corruption, this government has failed. Is the most, this government, APC-led federal government, is the most corrupt.
Anyway, we'll continue with our discussion, but quickly let us go on a very short break, and when we come back, we'll take a little bit more look at the president's speech, and then look into our next topic of discussion that has to do with the road to 2023 and the Electoral Act Amendment Bill primaries. And I'm still being joined in the studios by Charles Omini. The president has rejected the Electoral Act Amendment Bill sent to him by the National Assembly, and they're giving a lot of reasons, 7 of them so to speak, and all of them seem to center around that provision, section 87, that seem to want to make direct primaries compulsory. However, contained in that same document is the electronic transmission of results, section 52, that a lot of Nigerians think will change, the outlook of how we conduct elections in the country. Right now, as we speak, it's as if we have gained one and lose one. But to prevent a situation where we are losing everything as a result of the direct, the controversy that has surrounded the issue of direct primaries, what, in your own opinion, do you think right now the National Assembly should do? Because the document has been returned to them. We know that before they went on their New Year break, they said they were going to return in January to take a look at the document. We don't know exactly what they are going to do, whether or not they are going to override the president, which, to my mind, they are beginning to lose time themselves. They have 30 days to override the president. That 30 days have started counting. By the time they return in January 18, which is the date of their resumption, they will have only just 1 day,
remaining
left.
Yeah,
which I don't think will be enough for the Senate or indeed the National Assembly to want to override the president. So, how would you advise? What would you advise the National Assembly to do in this situation? A lot of Nigerians are looking at that document. They want especially that provision that permits electronic transmission of results.
Well, thank you very much. I think there is a political undertone from the Senate. Because if the Senate is going to resume on the 18th and they only have 1 day left.
By my calculation, really.
Yes, they only have 1 day left. They have nothing much to do. You see, what I've expected the National Assembly to have done on Monday, next Monday is 10th. Let them resume on the 10th.
So they should cut their break.
Why not? They are there for Nigerians. Nigerians elected them to go there and represent them and protect their interest. If this bill, if the National Assembly doesn't override Mr. President, forget it, the 2023 general elections at all levels have already been rigged.
How do you mean? Are you saying that all of the reasons that the president gave are not solid enough?
They are not enough. So what stops us?
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.